Viewer discretion is advised. The lesson. Hello, Havenites. From what you just saw, it can easily be assumed that many of you may know what the topic of this next video is. It's freedom of speech. The right to articulate opinions and ideas without government interference. This started out like a fine day. The sun was out, the birds were chirping, and oh yeah, one of my jealous brothers was finally moving away to somewhere out of state. It couldn't have been a more perfect day. The jealous brother in question that I am referring to, named DBL, had been causing me grief and heartache, and recently at that time, ever since I had first arrived back home for my first summer as a college student in the summer of 2008. The summer when everything I had worked for began to fall apart, when pathetic assholes like DBL and his kin had decided to show up whenever they had wanted personal favors from my parents. Speaking of a member of DBL's kin, one such member, named ARL, had decided to go willy-nilly one day in July of 2008 to randomly ask my parents, first my mom of course, with assistance with buying a brand new car for herself from a dealer since she just got her license. Now when that plan bombed for her, she immediately cried her eyes out next to my dad to try to next have him help her buy that new car for herself, unbeknownst to her that my dad was also currently helping to finance my college education as a co-signer to me, helping me to secure a credit line and thus help me financially for my college student loans and beyond as a result. Because of pathetic, selfish, dumb bitches like ARL, my dad would eventually lose everything he had worked hard for, and another caring relative at the time would be forced to step in to save the day. More onto this in a possible future video later. Stay tuned. My jealous brother named DBL, I really don't know why he had decided to move in with my parents and I beginning with the summer of 2008. He had his own apartment then in Dundee. Why didn't he just stay there? No, he chose to just prefer to be a mooch. Mooch for free food, laundry service, social ability, you know, the works. He couldn't take care of himself, despite at the time being a grown-ass man in his early 40s at the time. He was that lazy and dependent on others for survival. Give me a break, please. Sheesh. Every time someone like me would speak up with these truths to him or about him to my parents or other relatives, chaos and arguments would soon arise. That's when I had known that this pathetic fucking asshole named DBL was indeed jealous of my existence around him ever since I was first born many years ago. A couple of days before the nightmare that was on June 8th, in 2010, 15 years ago now, another date that year, which was Wednesday, June 2nd in 2010, was another uncalled for nightmare about to burst between me and another relative in my messed up family. Thankfully, I knew how to handle that situation well at the time. It was 6 p.m. on the evening of Wednesday, June 2nd, then in 2010. My jealous brother DBL's birthday, of course. I'm currently situated in my private bedroom at home watching TV while eating my dinner. Suddenly, one of my relatives slowly saunters at the front of my bedroom door, trying to talk to me in a bossy way. This was TSL, one of my oldest brother's kids, and he had wanted to talk with me. TSL had, instead of calmly talking with me, morphed our conversation at the time into eventually going the heated route, as I had ordered him out of my bedroom doorway with one finger after his scathing accusations toward me. Now, before the heated route escalation, thanks to a finger on my part to TSL from my bedroom door after, TSL had wanted to discuss with me why I had never gone outside much. I'm thinking, huh? Why are you bringing this up now, dude? It's 6 o'clock at night, and I'm trying to relax by eating my dinner. Jesus fucking Christ already. Why was TSL trying to order me around in my own home with my parents for? TSL didn't live with us, so he should not have been ordering us around, most particularly me. He had no right in someone else's home. This made no sense. Huh. After I had given TSL a certain finger salute from my hand, after his scathing accusations in an attempt to finally get him to leave and leave me alone, that really began to tick TSL off. He was about to come in to my room and possibly get physical with me then at the time, as a way of him for me to possibly teach me a lesson, but cooler heads had prevailed, and instead, TSL had called me a bunch of rude fucking names in retaliation instead, and thereby left my parents' house to the outside, with a loud slamming of the front door. Kaplash. When I had later came out for DBL's birthday party along with some other members of my family at the time, and I saw TSL, TSL had played it off like nothing had happened between us inside. Yeah, right. Oh. Petui. After I had later informed one of my Facebook friends online about just how this ordeal had been bothering me years later with me and TSL, that loyal friend had chosen to stand up for me, and he finally confronted TSL at long last, when no one else did and possibly should have. Thank you. But sadly, TSL had seemed to deny the accusation from my loyal friend online at the time, and had instead accused my loyal friend online of being my gay lover, and had insinuated that we should jerk off together. How rude. Flash forward to Tuesday, June 8th, also in 2010. DBL was finally getting ready to leave for what I had thought at the time was his new home out of state. After DBL had left, I had put the following up on my personal Facebook page. By posting this to my friends feed online on Facebook, I was not trying to sound mean or specific. In fact, even to this day, no one besides my oldest brother even knew just what the heck I was talking about. My post was so vague. That was the intention. This is the intention with anything that I spew out even today on social media. Isn't that the whole point of social media? I don't want to rehash the after effects of my oldest brother's reaction to my post that had bothered him from June 8, 2010. I feel I had previously discussed that in a previously made video that's still currently available here on this YouTube channel. Go back and check it out here on the channel where I had talked about this specific lesson segment that it's featured in the Be Careful What You Post on social media if you prefer. Thank you. But I can only deduce now that maybe my oldest brother may have found out about my social media post from June 8, 2010 that had apparently bothered him because one of his kids had turned me in to him as a way of getting back at me for the finger gesture from me that had ticked him off from days ago that year in 2010 on June 2nd. It's funny how I always get caught due to retaliation from something prior that someone's bothered with me and all my posts and what I say. Funny. The lesson from this part of the video is simply this. Family arguments should not be the result of retaliation. I say this for all of my family. If they had proven to be nicer to me way back then maybe I currently wouldn't be so fucked up in the head, requiring numerous trips to mental health therapy now today to try and access the past drama from my head. It's that simple. Sheesh. The other side of June 8, 2010 had happened one cold January day on January 15, 2017. I was calmly surfing through my Facebook feed when I discovered a post there about one of my then family member friends online that had seemed to bother me. This post was about one of my nephews from his girlfriend about him. To this day, I don't know just who AH, which is my nephew's girlfriend, was even talking to. I can probably only assume now to being an old girlfriend of my nephew at the time. But this kind of talk should not be voiced anywhere where others can view it. If AH had wanted to voice it, why the heck didn't she just randomly text one of my nephew's other girlfriends, if that's who she was referring to after all? The status update that AH had posted to Facebook then belongs in the category of a random text message to someone else privately, rather than a Facebook status for all to see. If AH had instead done that, all might possibly be forgiven and possibly forgotten over time. But no, I'm still bothered by today by how AH had, after saying this threat then, had managed to job hop from one job to another over the years without any repercussions felt at all. She had literally job hopped to date from working with pets to working with kids to now helping patients at a local hospital setting. Social media should follow everyone directly into the job world, as had actually happened to me 1 year later from one now bogus school district. This was a Monday night. I was sitting down and watching the WWE Raw episode of the WWE Royal Rumble pay-per-view after that it aired that year. You know, the one where then MMA fighter turned then WWE superstar named Ronda Rousey had appeared that year? While WWE Raw was airing on TV at the time then, I was also checking my Facebook on my mobile device. While scrolling, I had found a news article then of interest to me. This was an article about a local man accused of sending an inappropriate photo of himself to an underage child. After reading this article, I had commented this. I was speaking about all photos, both good and bad, since all of these photos tend to be forms of art to me. The next morning, my Facebook alerts are blowing up. One such comment from a local jerk on Facebook was arguing against my comment that I had said the previous night that if I had believed what I had said, that maybe I shouldn't be working for a local school district. People had actually praised this pathetic jerk by liking their posts in agreement on Facebook and completely missing my point in my comment and what I had been trying to say before when I had originally commented on the original article itself. Finally, after all of this hate and negativity over a simple misunderstanding, I had just decided to give up, and I had thus deleted my original comment to the news article I had commented on, thinking that I had finally washed my hands of the whole mess. Did I? Fuck no. I won't go too far into this day. I feel I've already said enough anyway in the previous video about it. Go and check out the Be Careful What You Post on Social Media lesson video I had previously created for this channel for greater detail on how this particular day of February 12, 2018 had affected me overall. Thank you. For now, I'll just prepare to give you a short Cliff Notes version of the day itself. Here goes. February 12, 2018 has started out fine. I went to work earlier that day in a special needs preschool classroom environment for the day. I was doing all of my duties as assigned with no trouble. After my lunch break, I was called briefly into the hall of the school, where I was asked to speak with the then school superintendent at my earliest convenience. At about 2:40 p.m. that day, I finally made it over to speak with that then school superintendent, and all hell had broken loose. Again, for more full details under that day from Monday, February 12, 2018, please feel free to check out my lesson video titled Be Careful What You Post on Social Media. Thank you. What I had said on Monday, January 29, 2018, that would eventually get me terminated from my then job at the Dundee School by a rogue authoritarian bitch named KH and her then equally abusive bastard pig school resource officer clown working for her from the corrupt Yates County Sheriff Office station named RS was nothing compared to what another recent educator from the Naples School District, this time who would later get caught spewing onto his own private social media feed on Facebook years later. Wednesday, September 10, 2025. I am just arriving back home from an important doctor visit. Upon checking social media, I see plenty of commotion over the recent assassination of a right-wing political activist and free speaker like myself. His name was Charlie Kirk. Now, in what I was seeing all over social media this day, I was seeing that some were for him dying, while others, myself included, were very sympathetic. Though many were praising the sudden death via gunshot from afar by some young, hateful millennial punk kid, one now former teacher from the Naples School District named Patrick Freewald had gone the extra mile, and as a teacher in Naples at the time supposed to be on both sides of the fence, Freewald chose to be one-sided and he acted like a complete jackass by feeling happy about Charlie Kirk's assassination, like many of the other millennial punks on the left side of the politics side too, like him, who are also praising an inspiration like Charlie Kirk to myself in death. The lesson. The following are exactly what Patrick Freewald had said on his private Facebook account page about Charlie Kirk's assassination. After sharing those garbage viewpoints from his dirty, opinionated mouth, I sincerely hope now that Patrick Freewald never works with innocent children ever again. Saying what he had said, from what I have shown you, is miles worse than what I had previously said, and what ultimately later got me terminated from the Dundee Central School District by some narking scumbag from my hometown community who had later turned me into an authoritarian bitch and now former superintendent from the Dundee School District years ago. While I was vague, Freewald was very broad and descriptive in what he was spewing out. He just didn't even care. Freewald thought he was being protected by the First Amendment to the United States Constitution. Like my nephew's girlfriend named A.H. in January of 2017, if Freewald had wanted to spew the garbage that he had spewed publicly about Charlie Kirk and his assassination, he could have and might have gotten away with it if he had chosen to do it privately with someone else in a private conversation. Like A.H. from January of 2017, that is what conversations like that were supposedly meant for. You have to understand, people, that society can view everything and be bothered with it if they choose to be. That's the world we live in now. Get used to it. Furthermore, sporting a shirt with the slogan of "Is he dead yet?" is very threatening and unprofessional behavior from a person who is supposed to be a role model for many of our future of tomorrow. The Naples School District ought to have been heavily ashamed of themselves of initially hiring this pathetic dirtbag to help teach our future. Furthermore, Patrick Freewald doesn't deserve to be working with the youth of tomorrow anywhere with his biased, opinionated viewpoints if he wants to continue to use them, about an inspiration named Charlie Kirk, who had sadly died via assassination by a hateful coward. The right to articulate opinions and ideas without government interference. Freedom of speech is not the right to publicly defame someone or something and thus threaten violence against someone or something, as my nephew's girlfriend named A.H. and Patrick Freewald had done in their social media rants. They thought that they were being protected by the First Amendment to the United States Constitution. Yeah, right. As the late great Charlie Kirk once said, never underestimate the power of your voice and the impact you can have on the world when you speak up for what you believe in. In other words, if you're going to say something, be vague about it, like me, and not so broad and descriptive on social media like both my nephew's girlfriend named A.H. and Patrick Freewald, formerly of the Naples School, had previously done. Trust me, you will hardly be in trouble unless someone's got a severe grudge against you and will do anything in the world to get even, like it previously happened to me in June of 2010, now years ago. And that's all I have to say about that. So until next time, Havenites, take care. Bye. H names rock. Like, subscribe, and come back for more.